Hey guys, welcome back to Develoquent. Today we're talking about the Keychron K3 keyboard and what it's like after having it for 4 months. Now let's jump into the video. So if you're watching this video, you either are looking to purchase a Keychron K3 or you're just wondering what's the hype all about with these low profile keyboards. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about what are some of the things that you want to look out for, or the things that you might not love when you're buying a low profile keyboard compared to a conventional keyboard. And what are some of the pros and cons of the Keychron K3? So with all that being said, let's jump right into it. So the Keychron K3, first off, what is it? It's a low profile mechanical keyboard. And this version that I have, I backed it on Kickstarter. It's a 75% keyboard, and it's the optical switches, which are hot swappable. And Keychron partnered with Gateron to be able to make those hot swappable. Or you can just get the low profile Gateron switches, and they have a cherry stem as well as the optical switches. So this one comes with the red switches, and then I put on the blue switches, which if you look at this video here in depth on the optical switches, you can learn more about that. Now, some of the most unique parts about this keyboard is that it's a 75%. It has Bluetooth 5.0, has USB Type-C for charging and for wired mode, as well as having RGB as an option. And of course, those optical switches allow you to hot swap those. And if you want to know more about the details of this keyboard, check out this video, the first of its kind, talking about all the different features of the Keychron K3 right when I ordered it. Real quick, if you're finding this video useful, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. So a few of the questions that I had when I was wanting to purchase this is, will it feel the same? Is it going to be mushy, kind of like butterfly switches on a laptop? Will I enjoy the 75% versus an 87%? As well as, will this have a good battery life because it has Bluetooth? And will the RGB be killing the battery really quickly? Will there be any connection issues or latency? For those that like gaming, is that an issue? Also, some questions that people might have is the build quality. Because it's such a thin keyboard, is it going to bend or break easy? And these are just a few of the things that you can be thinking about when you're buying this keyboard. Now, I bought this back in December, which is about 4 months ago, and I did a quick review on it when I unboxed it. And since then, I've been using it as my daily driver doing software engineering. So let's talk about the pros, and then we'll talk about the cons. So for one, like I mentioned before, some people were worried that the build quality wouldn't be that great because it was thin and the edges of it are really slim, as well as those optical switches. It was a new thing, having a hot swappable low profile key switch. No one knew how reliable those would be. And in my experience, the build quality has been great. I haven't had any issues as far as, anything breaking or scratching. I've dropped it. I've, had normal wear and tear, nothing crazy. But it's been a great keyboard as far as build quality goes, and the key switches are actually really, really well built, and for how slim they are, they do a really great job of never having like misfirings of the key switch or anything like that. One thing I did notice initially is it was difficult to figure out how to do the hot swapping on the key switches. They seemed really stiff inside of the faceplate, but after pulling a few out and switching them back in, it's pretty easy to figure out. Another thing that people might be worried about is the battery life, but how I've been using it for the last 4 months every day for about 6 to 8 hours a day. And I have it in Bluetooth mode with the RGB lights on. And I'll usually use it with one computer, but I do switch back and forth to other laptops occasionally. And I found it'll last at least 3 days, and that's with the Bluetooth always on. And one thing I noticed after using it for a couple days when I first got it was the sleep timer was 10 minutes for the Bluetooth. So after 10 minutes of not using it, and being away, it would disconnect from the computer and you'd have to click some buttons for like 4 seconds for it to wake up and connect back to the laptop. Now, an easy fix for that was to just simply do a certain command that you can just turn off that sleep time, so it will always keep that Bluetooth on and be connected to your laptop. And I'll show those different options here on the screen right now. You can either have it at 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or you can just shut that off completely. I've had it just completely off, and it still lasted for 3 days if I forget to just turn it off in the night. But that's with the Bluetooth and the RGB on. Another pro is having 2 different laptops next to each other as well as your phone, and you can have it easily switch between the 3 just by doing FN 1, 2, or 3 once it's paired. Alright, now after 4 months of using it, let's talk about the cons. So number 1 is the keycaps are not customizable. Although the keycaps do have the MX cherry stems, so they are compatible with any of those key switches that have the plus sign on the top. So the keys that use stabilizers, such as the space bar, enter key, backspace, caps lock, things like that, they aren't going to be compatible with other cherry MX switches or keycaps. So if you want to do all of the alphabet, you can change all those, but when you get to the space bar, things like that, it's going to be really hard to find anything that will fit those. Another thing I noticed switching between my MacBook Pro and my Dell Windows laptop was sometimes the Bluetooth wouldn't connect right, and I think it was probably just an issue with my laptop, but that's another thing to keep in mind. Another thing that people have noticed when using this keyboard in the day is the RGBs aren't very bright. Whether you have the RGB or just the white version, the light's not super bright. It works good in the dark, but it's just not great when it's light outside. So those are really the only cons that I could think of. Again, the build quality is great. I've used it for 4 months and I haven't switched back to my conventional keyboard, so that's definitely saying something. And I had been using that MX Cherry Brown key switch keyboard for a year just before this. I've been using this for 4 months nonstop. Now, why do I recommend this keyboard and who do I recommend it to? So I would say this keyboard is definitely in the perfect spot for those that are coming from like a laptop keyboard or somebody that's more used to like a Magic Keyboard with Apple products. I also think it's great for those that are using really any slim keyboard because it's a good way to step into conventional or mechanical keyboards without being such a big jump in height and just a different feel that you get with a mechanical keyboard. I also think it's great for those that have been using mechanical keyboard and want something that might give you a little bit less feedback, but also not having quite as bit of a travel time, and it's a lot better on your ergonomics on your wrists to not have to reach up so high to reach that high mechanical keyboard. But having something so slim, it lets you just have your wrist pretty level on your desk and not have to worry about having that strain or that carpal tunnel with your wrists. And I also think this goes well with people that travel a lot. It's really lightweight, so you can just throw it right in with your laptop. It's about the same width as like a 13-inch laptop, so it fits really great with laptops. I think that it goes well with iPads. I would definitely choose this over like a mechanical, full-size keyboard or a Magic Keyboard just because it has that low profile but also has that hot-swappable Bluetooth, RGB, good battery life, USB Type-C, which goes well with iPads. There's really so many things going for this that it's just hard not to choose this keyboard. Now that'll wrap it up for this video. Again, if you want to know more about this keyboard, go check out these other, the first of its kind K3 video as well as the Optical video that I have. They're both listed down in the description. Again, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you like this content. I'm going to be talking a lot more about keyboards. I'm going to talk about monitors. I have videos about monitor mounts. I just got this new mic right here that I'm going to be talking about. Anything that has to do with your desk, coding, and working at your desk. I'll be making more videos on those. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.